really we live in a world today where all of the information that's on the internet is searchable through Google, and that means people can find your phone number, your address, in many cases see what you look like, and all the rest. And so there is an invasion of personal privacy that is part of making all of this information available to the masses.
Dis-moi, qu'est-ce que tu cherches et je te dirai ce à quoi tu penses.
Google saves every search. And they do this, they say, in order to improve the quality of search. Because the more they know about your habits in searching, the more precisely they can give you search results in the future that are tailored to your interests. The flip side of this.
There is, however, a pretty significant privacy danger to having that data kept. As an example with myself, whenever my doctor prescribes me a drug, I'm interested in the drug, and I typically will type the name of it into the search engine to find out about it. So that's a record of my medical history, something that most people would like to keep private. But unfortunately, it is stored in the search engines, and not just there, but also the medical information pages that you go to. The search engines are only one element of the problem, but they're a very focused section of it.
People need to remember, if you have a secret and you don't want the world to know anything about it ever, don't type it into a computer because it can be traced.
You've got to check this out, and I'm going to type in our address. Okay. And wait for it.
What's it doing?
Wait for it.
What's it doing?
Watch it.
I'm watching it. What's it doing?
Wait for it. Here it goes.
No way. No way.
There it is.
That's
It's our house, man. It's great.
Type in Anna's address.
Okay.
Type in your mom.
It's my mom, too. All right. Your mom.
Oh, take that one, Google Earth.
It doesn't have everything.
Type in Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
Osama bin Laden.
Bin Laden.
As they would say in Massachusetts.
Could you imagine though? It was like, hey, Osama bin Laden's place. Should we tell somebody about this?
No, dude. Then Mom will know we were on the computer, okay?
But shouldn't we tell the president?
Dude! No Halo for a week.
Naturally, we're worried about the government and the police, but also you have to worry about any sort of lawyer in any lawsuit, ranging from, as I mentioned, a divorce to any kind of civil battle with neighbors or a business battle. These records could come back to haunt people in a way they don't want.
Ils ont la technologie pour être Big Brother, mais la finalité n'est pas politique. La finalité, elle est simplement commerciale.
Google insists that no human eyes look at your email, that they have software programs that look at it to extract the best advertising ideas, but that it puts tremendous pressure on them to protect the information. Because as we all know, outlaws and hackers have been able to extract information from even the most theoretically tightly protected computers.
Aujourd'hui, à l'heure de l'Internet, tout est information. La météo, c'est de l'information. Un blog, c'est de l'information. Un courrier électronique, c'est de l'information. Une photo, une vidéo, c'est de l'information. Et à partir du moment où Google va mettre tout ça sur ses serveurs et analyser ce que font les internautes avec, effectivement, on peut en avoir une vision assez machiavélique.
All right, I'm gonna crush your head. Oh, you're just riot, aren't you, Mr. Funny Man? Crush your head and crush it. Yeah, you like your head in a vice? Well, I'll crush it.
wanted to know your opponents or who was a part of a group like the Falun Gong, that's all possible.
Yahoo went into China and Microsoft went into China with some tools that could be identified to individuals. Some of those dissidents were arrested.
Because Yahoo compromised the private information of the Yahoo email users, causing the Chinese journalists being sentenced for 10 years or some other 80 years and 4 years. Google has not come to that problem yet. The reason is Google has not have any of those email services and blog hosting services in China. So the same question valid. If it's not now, it's just in the near term that Google has to consider. If they do go to China, what can they do to protect the privacy of the users?
Sergey Brin has told me that he's not sure they did the right thing by going into China and giving into censorship.
I'll disagree with the premise. We actually are not censoring. In fact, our search is the only search engine I know of, the only major one that operating in China where we do know no filtering. It is, however, censored by the Chinese firewall itself, which where they're able to take out certain searches at the border, and there's nothing we can do.
A lot of debate inside the company. I've spoken to many people inside the company, and they had fairly angry meetings. A lot of the staff think that the company was doing the wrong thing and going to China, and I think they were doing the wrong thing.
They did go into China because it is such a large, growing economy that not to be part of the second largest internet market in the world doesn't make a lot of sense if you are a for-profit business.
But unfortunately, the end result is not so much different than other internet companies such as Yahoo, Microsoft. They have to censor themselves according to what the Chinese government allows the information online.
But I think Google's crossed a line when they actually became the instrument of the oppression in China, when they would actually be the ones implementing the censorship. And I think that
this morning, so I won't be alone. Watch as she lies silent, but soon that will be gone. Oh, I will stand arms outstretched, pretend I'm free to roam. Oh, I will make my way through one more day in hell.
If you search the word Tiananmen Square outside of China, what you see is pages after pages of demonstrations and massacres and tanks on the Tiananmen Square and students, massacred citizens. It's being highly visible online. But if you go to China and type into any Chinese search engine or type in Tiananmen Square into the Google.cn, which is Google's China version of the search engine, you see smiling tourists. You see Chinese national flags. You see mouse pictures on the Tiananmen Square. Google has its own principle and ideal about provide all information to everybody. But this fundamental principle of the business being seriously compromised when they enter China.
Nous avons tous été stupéfaits que une entreprise qui publie à son de trompe son intention de ne pas faire le mal. Vous savez, don't be evil. Très bien. Accepte que, pour trouver sa place sur le marché chinois, accepte de faire des concessions pour ce qui est de l'accès libre à l'ensemble de l'information. Je trouve qu'il y a là au moins un motif d'être mis en alerte.
It's basically not the rise of Big Brother, it's the rise of Little Brother. is rather than one big eye watching you, now we have a million little eyes watching your every move. And the question is it a trade-off we're willing to make?
So what forms would be necessary to invent to limit and improve the expansionist dimensions of enterprises like Google? This seems to me one of the basic challenges for Europe.
I think these guys want to change the world. They're visionaries. They have a long-term view, and they don't believe there's anything that can stop them from executing it. If Larry Page's greatest ambition is tearing down the walls of libraries, Sergey Brin's greatest ambition is to enable people to search the genetic code so that each of us someday might be able to Google our own genes. Search engine is a very good match for the human genome. In fact, someone could propose marriage to someone else. And before giving an answer, yes or no, they might say, I like you, I love you, but before I decide, I'd like to Google your genes and find out what I'm really getting myself into.
Google's founders have a really broad set of some interesting, some wacky ideas. For example, they have talked about the possibility of a space elevator being a more rational way of getting people and equipment into space.
In one moment, Earth, in the next, heaven.
In fact, Keyhole, which is the company that became Google Earth, worked with NASA before too. So there's a lot that we work together, and maybe someday we'll get exotic. We'll build space tethers and things like that.
So I think people are waking up and they're getting to realize that there's a new model for business emerging that depends much more on the creative end than has been the case in the last 30, 40 years. And that's going to have it's going to have a large impact on the future.
And ultimately, the question is, can we trust Google?
It's absolutely impossible to predict what's going to happen in the future. The wonderful thing you can say is that the visionaries are always wrong.
Et in fine, maintenant, on parle de Google comme du grand monstre et de cette espèce de désir de Google de tout capter. Rien n'empêche de penser qu'à un moment donné, il va y avoir une autre application qui va arriver, ils feront le mauvais choix et va émerger un autre monstre.
I think over time, they have to be careful not to become arrogant and not to fly too close to the sun, or they will crash and burn. Because the biggest threat to Google comes from